In accordance with the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, this channel is not to be viewed by children under the age of 13. Viewer discretion is advised. Everybody drinking play Shadowrun Hong Kong. Last we left off, we completed the mission, and we also managed to avoid another firefight with another Shadowrun team. But we were able to at least get our reputation intact, and we're probably going to be able to get another Shadowrun team for us later on. Well, minus one member for them. But, yeah. If you're wondering what happened last week, I had to delete the video because it only got like maybe 10-12 minutes in instead of like the usual few minutes. So I had to basically delete it and start over. This is me starting over. Anyway, if you like what you guys see, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon to stay notified. Let's get started. Let's go talk to Duncan. Honestly. You walk into a mess. Half-eaten cans of food litter the floor and personal equipment is strewn about in a haphazard fashion. Amid the mess, Wu sits in his bunk with his back against the wall. He has a PDA in his hands, and he's staring down at it, sullen and morose. He doesn't acknowledge your entry. You want me to come back later? Doesn't matter. He doesn't look up. Go, stay, whatever. I assume that you're here to talk? Come on. What'd you think about that last run? That was some real cloak and dagger crap, wasn't it? Hitting the high-tech weapons research lab, framing a triad, and dealing with the other Shadowrun team? Ah, god dang it, the internet connection. I do apologize in advance for this. The internet is not okay today. He shakes his head, smiling. Oh, and to top it all off, there was a laser gun. There. A laser gun. I'm gonna be a criminal. This is the kind I want to be. The kind with a laser gun. He really wanted that laser gun. So, I've gotta admit, I was a little sad when you gave the thing to that other team. I mean, I get why you did it. Reputation is important and all that. But that weapon was an asset, too. He shrugs. I don't know. It was a tough call. Let's hope that you made the right decision. Anyway, enough about that. Need anything else? Yeah, I will admit, I wanted to keep the laser too, but we got a reputation to keep. Also, I apologize for the internet. There's going to be a storm hitting this weekend. Just, yeah, not going to be pretty. So what are you looking at the PDA? A video about what it's saying. Can I see it? Sure, why not? Wu taps the button and turns the PDA around so you can see it. The footage shows a serious Chinese man in an expensive suit sitting behind a large solid wood desk covered in blueprints. The man is holding a magnifying glass over one of the plans and studying it intently. He folds the blueprint over and checks the one beneath it. The nameplate on the desk reads Edward Sang, Vice President of Special Projects. The video was rough and contains no sound. It may have been footage for a documentary that was never completed. The next shot is from some sort of planning meeting in a glass-enclosed conference room. The serious man is sitting at the conference table, pointing to a large map. That was last year! Right, different universe, different thing. The footage cuts to a scene of two people talking at the end of a long hallway. They don't appear to know that they're being recorded. It's a serious man, listening intently to what an older woman has to say, nodding with his arms crossed and his thumb at his lips. The woman is the same one that was in the taped video that Kindly Cheng showed you. Josephine Sang. She is somewhere in her late middle age, beautiful and very clearly in charge. The two look up at the same time, begin waving their hands for it to be turned off. The woman appears angry but cold. The video ends and Wu puts the PDA face down on his bunk. Wu shrugs his shoulders, searches your eyes. Who is that guy? Edward Sang, Vice President of Special Projects of Sang Mechanical Services. Yeah, that's what it looks like, but I still don't believe it. Maybe when we find the plastic-faced man, we can get some answers. Until then, he stays Raymond Black. Been thinking about the way you and Raymond used to butt heads. What about it? I think that's what relationship with him. Raymond and I were tight. You just knew how to avoid conflict better than I did. That's not the same thing. You had that way of diffusing him when he started going intenso raid thing he used to, with that intenso raid thing he used to do, remember? No. Seriously? I think you were the one who came up with that name. It was like the summer after we started living with him and Miss Maloney. Raid found out that we hadn't followed one of his rules. I don't remember which. There was a long list. I think you brought some nerps? He hated crap like that. No, that wasn't it. I think he caught me smoking. Yeah, that's right. I was smoking. And he was pissed, and he said that fat kids who smoke die faster. So, just to be obstinate, I told him I liked to smoke, and we got into it. Then you came in and diffused the whole situation. Lou stopped talking, and his expression becomes thoughtful. I think that's why I was so resentful when you took off, especially after Miss Maloney died. You were the only one who could get through to him when he became intense, Ray. I remember the last time. It was when Double Trey got taken. I don't want to talk about that right now, Shen. I've got enough on my mind as it is. Stuff like my father betraying my trust. Oof. I'm guessing he's still mad. I don't blame him really for it. I really don't. Isabel? Isabel glances up at you. Her expression is grim. Sing-Jean, I've come to a decision. I want these memories out of my head. They're an unpleasant distraction, and I was happier without them. When this is all over, I'm deleting them. To hell with locking them away again. I'm gonna purge my childhood altogether. Shred the memories and move on. As an added bonus, it'll clear up a lot of headwear memory. I'm thinking that I could store some synth recordings up there. Maybe make it so that when I try to remember my past, I get summers on the beach instead of sorrow and pain. So you want to replace the truth with a fantasy? Hell yes! You're damn right I do! The avatar puts her hands on her hips, a defiant gesture. If you were in my shoes, you'd do the same. I don't think so. I saw some pretty terrible shit in the Barrens. I did things that I regret, but living through it made me stronger. Good for you. I don't want to be strong. Not if this is the price. I'm the one who has to live with this thing. Don't waste your breath on telling me not to get rid of it. She squeezes her eyes shut, rubs the bridge of her nose between her thumb and forefinger. Anyway, I guess that you're here with more questions, right? Let's get them answered then. Any thoughts about the last run? I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Mostly because with Ares, the alternative is leaving in a body bag. Especially when you're stealing a prototype laser. Good pay for a good night's work. And that's what this business is all about. If you can walk away and get paid, it's been a good job. I kinda wish that we kept the laser, because hey, it's a laser, that's awesome. But you did the decent thing, really. You helped those runners out, let them keep their rep, and both of us could get paid. That's a good quality in a team leader, and I'm glad I've got you running the show. Anything else you wanted to know? I got a question about the Walled City. Alright, go on ahead. Is there anything else you could tell me about the Yama Kings? Yeah, I've got another one for you if you want it. I can't say whether this is based on any kind of truth or not. That's for you to decide. But it always was popular when I was growing up, especially with the other kids my age. You'll see why we liked it in the end. Alright, lay it on me. Okay, this one's about a boy named Gordon Yam, and how he saved his mother from a fate worse than death. As the story goes, Gordon was the cleverest boy in the walled city. He could steal whatever he liked without getting caught, could steal and sneak into any room unseen, and could talk his way past any grown-up that might try to stop him. You get the picture. A real hero figure for the 9-year-old set. So one day, Gordon's mother fell ill. It was a bloody flux that brought on by a curse, and it was going to kill her. She told Gordon that he should accept her death. The curse came from a Yama king, and there was no medicine that could prevent it from claiming her. She begged him to run, to escape the walled city and use his cleverness to make a life for himself somewhere far away. Gordon loved his mother and refused to obey her request. Instead, he searched high and low for a way to save her life. For a long time, nothing came to him. But finally, he happened upon an old man who told him about a powerful Yama king that could cure any ill for a price. Which Yama king? One of the ones that you've told me about, or a different one? Different. He doesn't have a name, or he did, but because of what happened, speaking to it, it is taboo. The story's a little fuzzy on the details. We always just called him the Nameless King. And I just had some flashbacks to the Nameless King of Dark Souls 3. If you know, you know. So Gordon went out in search of the Nameless King. He made his way through Triad territory, past the Thrill Gangers and the Organ Langers. You know the drill. Eventually, he made it to the inner walled city where he found the Nameless King's court. The human servants of the Nameless King took Gordon to stand before the creature they worshipped, and Gordon proposed his deal. "Nameless King," he said, "I need your help. My mother is dying of an ill that only you can cure." "That may be so," said the Nameless King, "but what is it to me? What will you offer me if I spare her?" "If you will restore her to health, I will join your court in repayment. I, the cleverest boy in the walled city. I will serve you loyally and well." The Nameless King was excited then, for he knew of Gordon's cleverness, and he coveted the little boy's soul. Gordon pulled a braid of his mother's hair from his pocket and held it out before the Nameless King. "A lock of my mother's hair, O King," he said. "Cure her of this flux, and I am yours to command as you please." The Nameless King worked his magic, and Gordon's mother was cured. So what happened then? Did Gordon join the Nameless King's court? No. When the Nameless King turned on Gordon, he laughed in the monster's face. "I have tricked you, Nameless King, for my mother was the property of another of your kind. In curing her, you have robbed the Yama King of his dinner." The Nameless King raged and turned on Gordon, his razor blade fingers flexing wide. Before he could bring his arm down in the killing stroke, it was caught in the grasp of 1,000 hoofs, claws, and fangs. "Yama King, all of them. You have stolen from one of your own kind, brother," said the Yama King. "Your life was not yours to save." Gordon slipped away as the Yama Kings descended on their brother. He did not watch as they tore the Nameless King apart and bathed in his steaming viscera. He made his way back home to his mother, who was cured. And that was the one time that a living boy outwitted a Yama King. She stretches, cracking her back, clears her throat awkwardly. And that's the story. Like I said, you can see why we liked it. It's basically a fairy tale, and the little boy wins in the end. It's the only story about the Yama Kings that contains even a shred of hope. What do you think it means? I don't know. Probably doesn't mean anything. It's just a story after all. You're the one who asked it. Anyway, is there anything else you want to know? That's all for now. And I gotta go. Sure, drop by any time. So that story. Let's keep a track on that one. She's gone, Saint-Jean. I don't know where she ran off to, but she looked upset. She just said something about friends in trouble and then left. By the time I could disconnect from the octopus, she was on her way out of town. She must have come back to the sinking ship. I don't like the sound of that. Did she tell you what went down there all those years ago? The mutiny? Yeah, she's been having bad dreams about the place ever since. She turns her back and begins grabbing her gear. Well, we better go and get her, haven't we? Let's do it. I'm gonna go arrange transport out to... Hey, you come meet me at the docks when you're ready. Great. So looks like Gobbet's gone. We better go ahead and save her. Rector. Ah, my friend. You've done an admirable job. An admirable job indeed. I've already incorporated the technology that you've recovered, my stolen tech, into a new chassis that I'm fabricating for Koche. You move quick. Yes, well, he tips a cigarette. A cone of burning embers tumbles to the ground. I've been waiting for this for a long time. The next time we take to the field, you can expect to find Koche's combat effectiveness considerably improved. He has truly become deathless, just as his namesake was in the legends. When he takes damage, he will mend himself before your eyes. That sounds incredible. Can't wait to see it in action. Nor can I, my friend. He turns back to the whirling machines that fill his shop, watching their progress with the hunger in his eyes. Nor can I. Well, that's gonna be good. Feel like I want to talk with Raptor again. Welcome back, my friend. What can I do for you? What can you tell me about the colleagues who stole your work? Today, they call themselves Taylor and Hardingham. He speaks through clenched teeth. Koche drags a claw across the ground, and you can hear the squeal of metal on metal. Those aren't their real names, obviously. They shed their former identities when they left their old lives behind. What were they called when you worked with them back in Grecian Aviacorps? It doesn't matter. Those men are as dead to me as they were to the world. My old colleagues no longer exist. Taylor and Hardingham are all that remain. They are targets now, nothing more. Yeah, he brushes Koshei's armored chest with the fingertips of his right hand. Oh, how wonderful it would be to find them. What a reunion we will have. Any thoughts about that last run? A most wonderful outing. Excellent. I have my research back, my prototypes returned, all thanks to you. Oh, I suppose that I could complain of Taylor and Harningham's absence. I would have greatly enjoyed commanding Koshei to feed them their own entrails. But this is a small matter. I have my research and I will catch up with them soon enough. Your choice to give away the laser prototype that we discovered confuses me, though. Why did you bother? We didn't owe that other team anything, and we were there first, and we were the ones who found the device. He raised away the thought. But it doesn't matter. A small thing, my friend, a trifle. The laser is nothing compared to my research. I am in your debt. Now, what else do you have of me? That's when research means more to you than money, doesn't it? He nods his head. Yes, much more. It was my life's work, and it was important. Reducing it to a bargaining chip was a deadly insult, both to me and to all those who would benefit from my work. You say that with almost religious fervor. He snorts. Religious? No. Religious superstition is a relic of the past. I work on the future. A future that my research was intended to help usher in. Pair of orcs. Tell me about this future that you predict. Tell me, are you familiar with the concept of transhumanism? The transformation of humanity as a species by technological means? Huxley coined the term in the late 1950s, I believe. He nods. Yes, that's right. The seeds of the idea trace back even further to the 1920s in the J.B.S. Haldane, but it was Huxley who popularized it. And now the transhumanist vision has progressed beyond philosophy. It is fact. Look around you. Cybernetics are a fact of everyday life. The synthesis of man and machine is the crowning achievement of meta-humanity as a people. I believe that we are well on our way to a truly post-human future, one in which the synthesis of man and machine is perfected to the point that the terms become interchangeable. In such a future, the capacity for unlimited self-repair would be indistinguishable from immortality. You could see it then why the theft of my research came as such a blow. My former colleagues hadn't just stolen from me. They'd taken my contributions to the future of our species and reduced it to a bargaining chip. Yeah, I get it. I'd be upset too. I was more than upset, my friend. I was livid, and I still am. But all will be made right in the fullness of time. I am nothing if not a patient man. I can wait. He rises, brushes himself off. And with that, I'm afraid I'm going to have to bid you good night. I've talked enough of a break for one evening. There is still work to be done, and it would be lax of me to put it aside any longer. Alright, good luck with that. You don't see you. Good night. I don't know if we can still talk with Gaichu. Let's check it out. Ah, no, this is just about his mission. As usual, Gaichu's mementos have been piled back into the box to the point of overflowing. One unusual piece lays atop the various odds and ends, however. A golden hairpin with an orchid motif. Let's examine the hairpin. The hairpin is delicately crafted with a long golden stem terminating in a chain of orchids that dangle upon a thin chain. Examining this chain more closely, you observe a thin fiber optic wire twining between the links back upward into the stem. There's a small switch in the base of the stem, undoubtedly connected to the fiber optic wire. Flip it. At the touch of your finger, the hairpin springs to life. Colored light, blue and purple, plays along the edges of the orchids. Subtle holograms project from the blooms, filling the air with a twinkle of stardust, 1,000 glittering motes. The hairpin stem produces a quiet, delicate melody that is full of melancholy. After a moment, the song ends, and the room is once again plunged into a deep silence. Glancing at Gaichu, you can see that he has turned his back to you, and you realize that he has stopped breathing. Are you alright? I'm fine. Do not concern yourself. The rough edge in his voice, however, says otherwise. Gaichu takes a deep breath and begins again. That hairpin belonged to a friend. It was a gift I gave her. while we walked along the banks of the Katsura River near Arashiyama. She must have been special. She was, to me anyway. But I have not thought about those days in many years. It was a more innocent time for me. Gaichu finally turns toward you, his expression unreadable. Her name was Sayuri. We met in a spring seminar, an elective on Heian-era court poetry. I was trying to eliminate one of the softer electives I needed to complete my degree. Cocking his head, Gaichu puts a hand to his chin. Have you ever met someone and known within seconds that you would be close? Yes. Not often, but sometimes. Then you know the feeling I'm speaking of. Gaichu draws a claw down the length of his jaw. Yet there I was, and I knew it. It was not a romantic understanding, but rather I knew somehow that our lives were intertwined. Naturally, we saw more and more of each other over the following weeks, and I suppose friendship turned into something more, at least as these things do. Gaichu wraps his arms around his torso, looking away. I did not have many friends, I never have, but she was that, and more. She was studying chemistry, which was about as far from global security studies as one can imagine. We had little in common, but there was still more than I really felt with anyone else. Looking back at you, Gaichu shrugs. It was an unconscious relationship because it was easy. I never needed to think about it. And what happened? She did not approve of my plans to join Renraku. She found the youth brigade to be offensive and asked me not to devote my life to military pursuits. But I believe that person could not change my mind. She left me. Sayuri said she could not be with someone that would devote himself to murder. She returned to the hairpin and told me to keep it to remind me of her when I was in deep in the bowels of Renraku's military machine. Sounds like you regret your decision. Perhaps I do, but I would have regretted abandoning my goals as well. That's the nature of life. As one avenue opens, another closes. We all have to sacrifice to seek our fortunes. Plucking the hairpin from your fingertips, Gaichu turns it delicately around in his fingers as he feels the shape. I keep this to remind myself of the things we have to give up in pursuit of what we think is best. But few of us ever really know what that is that we want. Not truly. We simply grasp at mirages that we think will fulfill us. Humans tie themselves to other people with the most tenuous of strings, thinking love will fill the emptiness inside of us. When that fails, we tell ourselves that it was not meant to be, that fate or destiny would have us wretched apart. But that is a convenient lie. It is up to us, and only up to us, to make our futures. So I feel that it would behoove me to never forget the things I have given up in pursuit of the better option. I do not dwell on the past, nor am I haunted by it. But it would be doing Sayuri a disservice to forget what she wanted from me. Gaichu places the hairpin back in the box, turning away. That is some deep stuff, honestly. Really deep stuff. But let me just move my guy just a little bit closer to where I want to go, and I know we gotta go talk to Goblin and all that, but I definitely feel like we need to go ahead and talk with all the shopkeeps. Especially the COPPA family in Ambro. Especially the COPPA family. Got a feeling it's gonna be a busy episode, so I'm gonna call it here for today. I'm Giant King Mark, and hopefully if this video processes completely and it actually is viewable due to not due to bad internet connection, I will be able to keep going. Next time on Let's Play Shadowrun Hong Kong, we're going to go and talk to everybody, and then definitely do Gobbet's quest line. We definitely have to do that because I definitely feel that Gobbet's quest is going to be a bit interesting. If you like what you all saw, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon to stay notified of when I'm going to upload or stream, and I'll see all of you next time. Laters.